Right. Let's get back to it. Doing a bit of fast forwarding at the start to see if I can avoid having to split this thing up to avoid the half-hour mark. It helps that I did some backtracking in order to save. Huh. Why is it that it was only when I sped up the footage that I saw the little tusk things fly off the worm when we destroy a particular head? I would have thought that sort of thing would be more obvious at normal speed, but then it should have also been obvious that I can translate a few extra doors and read some more lore on this side of the portal. I know hindsight typically makes you look like an ass, but it somehow feels a bit more prevalent in this game than the other Metroids for some reason. Is it that doing this game at all is leaving me a bit frazzled or something? Again, this is one of the more brutal games in the franchise as a whole, and while I enjoy the broad strokes of it and consider it an overall good game, I do admit I revisit it a lot less often than all of the other Metroids. Definitely appreciate another energy tank considering just how toxic the Dark World is for us. Though I think I'd appreciate armor that at least slows down how quickly we die on the other side more than just upping our health. Especially considering the enemies attacking us on the other side have not felt all that threatening. So maybe if they give us better armor, the enemies in the other world will feel more interesting because they have to. So, I still don't scan the lore thing because for some reason I don't think I have the translator program, but I'm willing to scan the console right next to it. Definitely feel like a bit of an idiot here. Ah well, we managed to open a fresh area by turning off the sandfall. Seriously, no matter how I look at it, it doesn't feel like even a remotely smart idea for them to have sand act like water. Handle with caution, huh? Sorry, but I'm just gonna use it to kill those pirates standing right there. Sure, we could have taken them out conventionally, but just how often are we gonna get to use explosive crates to kill enemies in the Metroid series? Hell, I dare say this is the only time we've done so in all the Metroid games we've done so far. I'm sorry, but if that's supposed to be a windmill, then I don't think that they really know where and how to construct things like that. At the very least, I'm sure that the wind would be stronger above this canyon, not at the bottom of it. Not that I'm an expert in how wind works or how to catch it with windmills and all that. If it's an attack skiff of some kind, then shouldn't it have some weapons of its own? Ah, well, time for us to start shooting pirates since we're apparently heading in the general direction of their base. Feels like a safe assumption, considering the fact they built windmills here for some reason. Though again, I feel more than a little annoyed that they're in such good shape considering how the Federation ship full of troops that came down here to arrest/finish them off got absolutely slaughtered and then possessed. Is there any in-universe explanation for why the Ing aren't just aggressively attacking and possessing these guys left and right? I doubt it's because they're working together. Right. So now we're dealing with what looks like anti-ship turrets. Does that rail mean we're gonna get the spider ball soon, or that we're gonna come back here when we have it? Right. Forgot that there are two of the damn turrets to deal with. Thankfully, a single shot from one of the things isn't absolutely obscene against our armor. even if those guns are intimidatingly large. Possibly a result of them using weak little windmills to power cannons meant to be mounted on goddamn spaceships. Now, I'm not saying that wind power is weak, just that I'm not convinced about the design and placement of these windmills, and the sheer power requirements something like that should need. But then who am I to complain about that sort of thing when I'm not even an engineer and when we're talking about a sci-fi universe? A sci-fi universe where we blow up crates in order to grab healing items and ammo replenishments, and the crates will magically be replaced all over the room the moment we come back, even if all the pirates are dead or otherwise too occupied to bother setting crates aside. Still, it gave me something to talk about as I figure out that there's no way I'm getting this clip to under half an hour long without another awkward cut somewhere around the 20-minute mark. I should probably have felt more worried since most of that tunnel looked like an organic material. Okay, so the pirates are sending some troops through a portal. They're amazingly well equipped considering a small Federation gunship was able to trap them on the planet, and they have no way to get fresh resources or reinforcements from other space pirates. Is that not the case? I suppose that's one way to make sure we don't make any progress in that direction, at least for a while. Let's just see how much effort it's going to take for us to get that gate open again. And apparently I'm going to be spending a lot of time in this room just reading the various bits of lore. Thank you, pirates. I'm sure this is going to be amusing, even if I read things out of order. Wait. So they were planning on flying to this specific planet before the Federation ship found them? I could have sworn that the Federation ship shooting down the pirate ship was the reason the pirates were down here in the first place. Especially with that damn storm going on near the top of the planet.
Recording to logbook.
Well, maybe they were at peace back when the first reports came through. It's not like we have a timeline for when the war started, or just what a Class 4 conflict is supposed to be. Just how are you getting troops out here if the storm is able to block communications and busts up any ship that tries to fly through it? Or are they saying that the pirate-made ships are made of sterner stuff than the Federation or Samus's personal vessel? Well, you clearly figured out how to interact with it by the time Samus arrived here, hence why you sent a team through just as we arrived. I somehow doubt you're gonna get all that much use from that weapon, mostly because we've still got quite a bit of gear to collect in this game. So it most certainly wouldn't be amiss in any way for us to grab a new kind of gun right in the heart of the pirates' base. Yeah, Dark Beam is definitely gonna be something we're gonna need, especially since some of those doors have dark energy preventing us from opening them. Calamity made that alternate world accessible to this reality in the first place. I'm sure they find the air on our side of the portal to be as deadly to them as we find the air on their side to us. Not that I remember the game making that especially explicit, though. It's just a bit of fan canon that feels like it fits, and I don't recall anything in the game outright countering that assumption at some point.
Recording to logbook.
I'm pretty sure the toxic atmosphere has bigger impact on you guys than the monsters here. But maybe I'm underestimating the monsters over there since those energy fields let us heal during our fights with the damn things. Or at least they have so far. I'm sure that will change the further into this game we go. Oh, I'm sure this mission will fail just by virtue of Samus arriving. Of course they brought fucking Metroids to this planet for some reason. These guys are obsessed with Metroids. Understandable, since they're the reason the franchise got its name, but I'm hoping that Metroid Prime 4 is not going to have any Metroids just like Dread.
Recording to logbook.
I'm sure the pirates have done plenty of attempted scans of the alternate Aether, but given the fact that they haven't gotten that planet under control, I doubt those scans will be especially enlightening. Especially since we know, based on the Luminoth, that the rift was caused due to an asteroid, and an asteroid also brought Phazon to Talon 4, which of course raises the question of where these asteroids with Phazon are coming from. A question that will unfortunately not be answered until we finally get to Metroid Prime 3. I'm not sure how those Federation troops would have held up against the local pirates, but they certainly couldn't deal with the Ing infesting the local bugs. So really, waiting for the hostile planet to kill the Marines was probably the smartest thing the pirates did out here, at least in terms of tactics. Of course, the smartest thing would have just been not set up on another high-maintenance base on yet another death world. The galaxy is a massive place. There has to be some planets that the pirates could set up camp that are empty and not describable as a death world. Not that we ever go to any of those pleasant parts of the galaxy, and it's not like Phazon seems to be peaceful itself. We only get to hang out with Samus when she's doing some especially brutal, life-threatening work. Though I have heard she has a cameo in Super Mario RPG, yet another game I've yet to get around to doing. Sure, it's her sleeping in an inn in the Mushroom Kingdom, but hey, you gotta relax sometime. And this probably isn't the time to relax, even if there's plenty of things for us to scan in here. I don't suppose we're going to find anything to describe that biofarm, are we? Metroids that are probably draining from a number of other power sources you could have been using. I have never understood the idea of using an ultimate predator like the Metroids for something as mundane as a battery. It's sci-fi. Surely you have less dangerous means to get energy than the creatures that will suck you dry and potentially transform into even more deadly beasts that probably won't be so easily tamed. I have the distinct feeling the investigation unit also went missing.
Recording to logbook.
Of course they'd research the regular Aether along with the alternate version of the planet. Leaving large sections uninhabitable would probably mean more if we went through actually pleasant places in this series instead of always going to death worlds. Now sure, the Luminoth are probably very much emotionally crushed by what's happened to their planet, but it's not like we actually saw what it was like before the fall. We only arrived to see the place when it's at the brink of total destruction. Again, the pirates never showed the ability to teleport in any of the other games, so it feels pretty odd that they're blatantly teleporting in this one. I might have been more accepting of it if I saw teleporting happening in the sequel, claiming their technology has improved, but no! Seriously, the previous game gave us doors that only the pirates could go through. Why not pull that sort of thing in this one? Wait, did we kill him or did he just leave? Ah, so he just moved to that awkward spot again. I know I could just move to the room he's in or break more of the glass to get more angles to shoot him from, but Why is it that none of these reports mention that some of their own troops have been getting possessed? You'd think the pirates would try to do something to slow down how fast the planet is falling apart if they're trying to gather energy from the place. Ah! Guess they're talking about Dark Samus at the moment, and of course, they have as much luck against our evil Nier that they've had with the main character. Does this mean that Dark Samus can also hack their terminals, or is this just referring to our own reading in the room? Either way, even at this point in the timeline, you'd think that the pirates would stop saying kill the hunter and just go, run away and hope she doesn't keep chasing us. Especially since I don't think they brought any of their bosses with them for this outpost. Anyway, we already knew that Dark Samus is chasing after Phazon. That's exactly what we saw in the cutscene just as we lost our starting equipment. Speak of the devil and she shall appear. Definitely not getting the same level of menace as the SAX from Fusion, but I suppose Dark Samus is still pretty creepy. And of course they're breeding more Metroids here, because the pirates keep looking at bad ideas and going, how could we make this worse?
Recording to logbook.
I'm sure you guys are pretty used to disasters at this point. Well, you pirates must have been very pleased that this turned out to be more of a death planet than the Federation troops could handle. Probably the main reason you keep building bases in places like this anyway. But then it's probably hard to feel pleased when you're fighting against monsters all the time, as you try to gather more resources on a planet that you might not be able to get off of when it finally goes critical. Well, the good news is that the planet isn't going to kill you if we have anything to say about it. The bad news is that while trying to prevent the planet from being destroyed, we're also going to go out of our way to kill any space pirates we find. So yeah, you're not going to have any better luck on this planet even if things actually go well.